So hi guys, hello, I hope that you have a good day today. So for today's lesson, we're going to talk about algebraic expression. By the way, all throughout our module or course for this summer, we are going to use video tutorial to aid our instruction during this summer class. So at the end of this video, I want you to come up with some questions regarding our module for this summer class. And you can easily approach me using the Bismarck Messenger, or you can tap me on my email. You can easily request for another tutorial video if ever you have not understand our lesson for today, or you want more examples for today's lesson. But before that, we're going to discuss now algebraic expression. So before, I think you're in grade 7 or 8, you're already familiarized with algebraic expressions. But as we go on, we as your teachers have found out that some of you find it still difficult to understand because maybe algebra is intercorrelated with coefficients and variables. So before we move on for our next school year, we would like to refresh your mind first regarding algebraic expressions, because algebra is what you need in high school, and even in college you can still encounter algebra. So if you have a strong foundation in algebra, and all lessons in high school and in college involving mathematics will be much more easier for you to understand if you are going to master the basics of algebra. So for this summer, we're going to study algebraic expressions. But before that, we need to define what is an algebraic expressions. Okay, an algebraic expressions in mathematics is an expression which is made up of variables and constants. Constants are sometimes referred to as the coefficient of the algebraic expressions. And algebraic expressions involves operations involving addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. And our expressions are also made up of terms. So for example, terms for that, the common problem that we see involving algebra will be look like this. You have 2x squared plus 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. This equation now, class, is considered as an algebraic expression. Why? Because sabi nga kanina, it involves variables and constants. So ano kaya yun? Later on, we're going to find out what are these variables and constants. Okay? And with that, let me just give you some review about mathematics. I just want to reiterate that math is not just about algebra. Algebra is just a part of mathematics. Math is the universe, and there is a lot of mathematics world involved in this kind of universe. And now that you're in high school, you are studying algebra. So let's just go back to your grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4 mathematics wherein you are studying arithmetic. Now, sometimes they misconceptualize arithmetic as mathematics, but no, arithmetic is just a part of mathematics. No, it's just one kind of mathematics. This is a subgroup of mathematics. And in arithmetic, if you can still remember your mathematics when you were still in grade 1 and grade 2, it is a lot more easier. Because in arithmetic, we just define terms like this, wherein you can easily understand this equation. Why? Because it just says that you just have to multiply 3 to 2 and then add it to 5, and you can get the answer 11 for that. But in algebra, what makes it so exhausting to see, as what others say, algebra involves letters. Minsan nga sinasabi nila, ang dali-dali ng math ko ng grade 1 and grade 2, grade 3. Kasi nga, arithmetic pa lang yun. Pagdating kasi natin ng 4, 5, 6, we use algebra already. But in 4, 5, 6, we don't use yet letters. Instead, we use figures, fruits, ganyan. But still, it's another kind of algebra. In high school, we use letters. Why? So let's find out. Okay, as I have read a while ago for the definition of algebraic expressions, algebra involves constants and variables. Okay? Any number in an algebraic expression is considered as a constant. So for example, we have 2x plus 3. 3 and 2 can be considered as constant. And x here is a variable. Why? Because variables can represent any number or anything. Like for example, when you were in grade 4, I should say, you still remember when teacher presented you 2 apples plus 3. How many? So you're going to multiply apple into 2 times. Okay? Parang ganon. In algebra, we use letters, and apples can represent any kind of number. Okay? Actually, variables can be any letter in the alphabet, but usually we see X and Y. Okay? X, Y, Z. Because our mathematicians before loves to use these letters because it is easier to understand. So let's try to proceed. So let's try to see. No? Okay. Now, for this equation over here, sabi natin kanina, x can represent any number. And to solve for that, we have to find out what is that number that represent our x. So how are we going to solve that now? So let's try to solve this equation. 3x plus 5 is equal to 11. Normally, what others do is just find it out. Okay, we have 3x plus 5. This would be your first term. And 5 would be your second term. So let's try to solve. Okay, read this one. Very easy. In arithmetic, you just add this number and you get what is the answer or the answer for this question mark, right? But in algebra, nakakainis kasi nga meron siyang x. Bakit may x pa? In algebra, the difference between arithmetic and algebra is that in algebra, we need to define these two equation right here, 32 and x. Dapat equal sila kasi meron tayong equal sign. So, ibig sabihin, pag in-add natin si 32 plus 2, this is 34, should be equal to 34. Dapat. Okay? So, paano natin gagawin yun? We have to find the value of x. And easily with this equation, you can find the value of x, which is 32. And it is also the same with arithmetic problem, with this arithmetic problem, right? Now, what if we have more complicated problems, for example? Okay? We now have 34. If we replace x here, that's 34 is equal to 34. What if we have more complicated problem, like this one? Okay, for this one. Normally, you have to think a number that when added to 24 is equal to 10. And in our mathematical or arithmetic math, we just have to add a negative number, right? So what is that negative number that we should add to 24 to make it 10? Find out. It would be 14. Very good, because when we add negative 14 and positive 24, that will give us positive 10. Here, remember the rule of integers, right? But for this one, for algebra, we have a different approach. So let's find out what is that approach. Okay, in algebra, in order to eliminate the numbers, this side, and para maiwan si x, you have to add something to this number, which is that 24, to make it 0. So when we add negative 24 on both sides, this will make it 0. And then we can now have x is equal to 10 minus 24. Right? Okay. So ganun lang ang process niya. So let's see if we still can have the same answer with that of our arithmetic to this algebraic equation. So we have x is equal to 10 minus 24 kasi na-cancel na siya at naiwan na si x doon. Kasi nga naging 0 na yun. So we now have x is equal to negative 14. Now, balikan natin. If we are going to correlate these two, they're the same, right? Okay? We obtain negative 14 to be added to 24 to get 10. And then in algebra, we use operations to find for the value of our x. And ideally, if we are going to substitute now the values of x here, it will also give us 10. It will also be the same if our x is equal to negative 14. Okay? You understand? So let's have more examples. Okay, I know you got this. Dali lang naman siya. So let's have more examples. Okay. For x plus 2 is equal to 3, so we have to think of a number that when added to 2, that would give us 3. And we all know that. What is that number? Okay, very good one. If we're going to follow the same procedure, yung ginamit natin kanina, it will look like this. So we have x. We have x plus 2 equal to 3, right? Now we have to eliminate 2. Wait lang. We have to eliminate 2 here. So what number are we going to add? We have to add negative 2 on both sides, right? Okay. Now, pag in-add natin yan, cancel, matitira si 1. And 3 minus 2 will give us positive 1. Which makes this equation true. So let's see. If we're going to check it, if we're going to substitute the value of x to our equation, so we have 1 plus 2 is 3. Remember, an algebraic expression should be equal. So, mapapansin nyo, dapat yung side na to ay equal dito. If not, mali yung solution. So, kailangan mong mag-solve ulit. Let's have another example. Okay, 2x plus 2 is equal to 4. Now, the goal is to find the value of our x over here. So, what are we going to do? Same process, we need to isolate the coefficient or constant with variable x. So in order to isolate that, we have to add a number that could decrease this number over here to 0 para maiwan yung x. So what is that number? Okay, very good. That is number or negative 2. So we have negative 2. We have to add negative 2 to both sides. Okay. The way when we add that, so meron tayong 2x is equal to 4 minus 2. Next, we have to evaluate 4 minus 2. 4 minus 2 is 2. Then we have 2x over there. Now, we need to isolate x again. So, what number should we divide to 2 para maging isa na lang yung x? Okay, or 1x siya. So, we know that when we divide the number to itself, it will give us 1, right? So, if we divide 2 to 2, it will give us 1. So, 2 divided 2 is 1, or that is easily be understood as 1x. Let's try to find out if our solution is correct. Okay, step by step. And divide it by 2. And we have now x is equal to 1. Now, uulitin ko, kapag ka hindi equal yung equation sa left dun sa equation sa right, our solution is wrong. So we have to substitute now the value of our x to our original equation, which is 2x plus 2. So substituting the value of x, we now have this one. 2 times 1 plus 2 is equal to 4. The goal is this equation on the left side should be equal to 4 also when we substitute x or the value of x to that equation. So, nakita nyo naman, equal siya. So, we have 2 times 1 is 2 plus 2, that is 4. So, 4 is equal to 4. Therefore, our solution is correct. Okay? So, gusto ko kayo naman ang mag-solve. I want you to pause this video for a while and solve it on a piece of paper. Huwag po munang i-continue. Okay? At the end of this activity, I want you to attach your solution so that I can check if you really understood our introduction lesson. And we could now proceed to our next lesson for the next module. Okay, I believe you have answer now. So let's try to find out. Sabi dito, for any x that is equal to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, evaluate the following algebraic expression. So if we have a number set over here, which is 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that could represent our x. So lahat ng x dyan, sa-substitute natin ng value ng 2, 2 plus 45, next 3, 3 plus 45. So, I believe meron na kayong answer. So, let's try to find out if you are correct. Yeah, I believe some of you or most of you now got the correct answer. So, ganun lang kadali for algebra. But still, we need to learn more of algebra on our next module. Now, as I said a while ago, if you have any questions, you may do the following. You can message me here on Bismarck, or you can message me in my messenger. Kung kilala nyo ako sa Instagram, you can message me there. Or you can email me right away to my email address, which is peachy3@gmail.com. And you can ask me any questions there regarding our lesson for today. Or you can ask another video tutorial. For example, nalilito kayo, sure, paano times yung x dun sa 2. You can ask another video example for that. If you find PEMDAS hard still, you can message me right away and I'll make another tutorial video for you. So I know you got this, guys. Kasans kayo, kayang-kaya nga. So I hope you have enjoyed our lesson for today. So that's it. I would like to meet you again for our next module. So stand by lang. You can now answer our pre-assessment. Good day!